Joining us now from Oklahoma City are Carrie Housley, who is a reporter for radio station KTOK. She has been covering this scene since it began. And standing next to her on her left is the man who took this photo. It was on the front page of just about every newspaper in America, the photograph of a rescue worker handing over a badly injured baby, 1 year and 1 day old, to an emergency worker in Oklahoma City. And the gentleman's name is Charles Porter. Good evening, folks, and thanks for staying up with us tonight. Let me start, Carrie, with you and ask you about your day today and life in Oklahoma City. I was remarking here last night to somebody from CBS News that during the days of the earthquakes and the riots and the fires here in Los Angeles, although to the outside world it appeared as if nothing was happening, there was a certain normalcy to life in LA at the time. How about Oklahoma City?
Well, I wouldn't say we've gotten to the point where this is normalcy. I grew up in Oklahoma, and I'm telling you, it has been astounding to me, not only to be a reporter covering this, but to be an Oklahoman watching a lot of people that I know in law enforcement agencies working to try and get survivors out of this building. I was just south of the building when the explosion happened, and had just come out of the federal courthouse. Felt the boom in the car. My car actually moved off of the ground. All of a sudden, glass came out of a church just west of me. I looked up and I saw all the smoke come billowing out of the federal building. And then immediately, as a reporter would, got on the two-way in my car and said, "We've got to go on now. There's been an explosion." And was actually kind of trapped between emergency vehicles and couldn't get out. Lucky for a reporter, unlucky for a citizen in the area.
Let me ask you about the radio station and how you turn a talk radio station all of a sudden into a news conduit. How quickly can you make that turnaround?
Well, I went on the air about 30 seconds after the blast. They had me on the air live talking about that, talking about what was going on. We were getting ready to go into our local talk show, and at that point when they heard what was going on, we immediately started throwing things together, and our news director went on the air, and from that moment on we've been carrying the reports on the bombing ever since. So 48 hours, going on 48 hours of continuous coverage on the air. We've had call-in shows. People from all over the state have been calling us, talking about how they feel, how this has affected them. It has just been amazing listening to how this has really impacted their lives.
Let me ask you about you, a reporter for a radio station in Oklahoma City, all of a sudden being asked to cover a major story with international implications, and doing it, for what I'm told, splendidly. We watched all of you yesterday, both on radio and television in Oklahoma City, perform as seasoned journalists, you know, never stepping over the line of speculation into rumor and hearsay. How has it been for you and for your colleagues? Have you had a chance to compare notes with colleagues or competitors?
A little bit. They have been using KTOK as kind of a format. We were the first one. I was the first one reporting about the explosion in the Oklahoma City area. So that brought all the other media in this area in, and then immediately all of their affiliates began coming in. It's amazing to see the difference between last night and tonight as far as how many satellite trucks we have here. I mean, it's like we've got people from Tokyo here. I mean, everyone in the world wants to cover this story, and you feel lucky as a reporter to be knowing it's kind of your story. I mean, I feel like this is my story, even though everyone all over the world wants to be involved.
Let me talk to Charles here about his picture, which so gripped the nation this morning. Charles, by profession, you are in the banking business, and I guess when you heard this thing at your office yesterday, you thought for a time it was a sonic boom. Then what happened?
All I did was just try to figure out what was going on. We thought it was a building that might have been demolished in the downtown area by officials. I just went to get my camera out of my car and thought I might get some interesting photos for myself only. And I got down to the area and was completely shocked.
When you first saw it, first impressions? I know shock, but anything else?
Complete disbelief.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, there was glass and debris everywhere, and it seemed like everywhere I looked there was somebody that was either injured or bleeding. I mean, everywhere. It seemed like thousands.
I know you had 2 rolls of film with you, and I just wonder, as you snapped them into the camera and were shooting away, did you have any idea of the images you were capturing on those 2 rolls of film, or was it all going so fast you really weren't thinking about it?
I was only down there about 45 minutes, and it seemed like forever, but as far as the film went, it seemed like it went really fast. I had no idea of what the images would look like, whether they'd be good, bad, or indifferent. They were not intended really for this kind of a purpose. They were just personal photos.
I understand that. Do you always have a camera with you? Or are we one of those? There are a lot of people that always have a camera around just in case, you know.
Yeah, I usually keep it with me or in my car.
And when you saw the photos, what did you think? What did you think you had?
I was really moved. Whenever I had them developed at a Walmart here in Edmond, the first people that saw them were the employees at Walmart, and when they started crying, I didn't know exactly how to react.
And what'd you do next? What I'm asking is how they got on the front page of all the newspapers.
I called a friend of mine, Dan Smith, who's a professional photographer here in University in Edmond, and he suggested that I might think about selling them. And so the next place I went was the Associated Press office in Oklahoma City.
And?
They looked at them and they said, "We want these 2 photos." And I don't know. The rest is history, I guess. I don't know.
And the 2 that they took then would be the one of the child being passed from one emergency worker to the other. And what was the other photograph? What was
the other was a single photo of the fireman holding the child by himself, just staring at him.
Yeah. And what about the rest of the photographs? Where are they?
I've made a few arrangements with different people, and they're going to be distributed in different publications.
Everybody wants me to ask you how much you sold them for, but I'm not going to, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Anyway, Carrie, before we close this out, what are your plans now in terms of coverage through the night, and what's ahead for tomorrow on your schedule?
Well, at 6 a.m. they're going to be holding a news conference. The state medical examiner's office is going to be holding a news conference. Hopefully we'll get names of those who have died and that they have pulled out of the rubbish. Right now, the total of those in the morgue is 41. We do know that there were 12 found in a huge hole area in the basement area. I just talked to Governor Frank Keating here in Oklahoma. He had just come back from the site, saying it was absolutely amazing looking at, finally looking in the basement where a lot of people have been trapped and only finding bodies. So right now the body count goes along with how many bodies they have in the morgue. Right now we have 41 in the morgue. 12 of those are children. 3 of those died at local hospitals. We were told earlier today, or I should say yesterday, that 435 people have been treated at local hospitals here in Oklahoma City. An amazing amount of people. I have to say that the hospitals really jumped into gear in treating all of these injured people. And some of those 435 were people who were just around the building who got hit by debris and flying glass. So right now 150 people still unaccounted for.
I thank you for your time tonight, Carrie, and I appreciate your being with us, and my personal commendations to you and all who toil in journalism in Oklahoma City on the fine work you've done in getting the story out to the rest of us these past couple of days. Thanks for that, and thanks for being with us as well, Charles Porter.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Good night, folks, and bless you.
Good night.
Marvin Zonas next up, one of the foremost, if not the foremost experts on Middle Eastern terrorism in this country, joins us from CBS TV in New York after a short time out. We'll be right back.